Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Thursday night. It is time for Revolutionary Change. I'm Jen Perelman.
I'm Peter Hager, and you have better lighting than me tonight for sure, Jen.
Well, you know what? That's nice for a change, isn't it?
Yeah. Rocking the scarf.
Well, yeah. It's also good to hide, as we age, it hides the neck.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing?
Yeah.
So we're apparently headed for World War III, aren't we?
Well, you're going to have to be more specific. Are you, I like a stray hair thing. Are you talking about that Russia warned us to get out of Kiev? Or are you talking about that we can't seem to stop fucking around with Iran?
Well,
what would that be?
Unfortunately, this is what happens when you put the wrong people in charge. And again, it has nothing to do with the populace electing one person or another person. This is just this is collectively years and years and years of decision making that has been made, and frankly, in many respects, a lackluster level of desire to be involved on the part of the average person who just does not pay attention until things get too bad. And now they're getting really bad, and one is wondering if there really is enough to pull back at this point. And when we hear the rumblings, as I've said repeatedly, the average American needs to hear something, probably
exactly. Turkey neck
needs to hear something like 5 or 6 times before it sticks. I think it's starting to become pretty obvious now that the influence that the Israel lobby has over our country, because of its billionaire Zionist class that fund it, adhere to it, want it to grow and strengthen numbers. I mean, amongst that class it will, but amongst the populace, it's starting to become obvious that our involvement is becoming very detrimental to the citizenry. And at the moment where everyone's like trying to breathe a sigh of relief and thinking, okay, maybe maybe now things are starting to come to pass in a good way. And we see what happens last night or this afternoon, more bombs on Iran, and we're back to square one all over again. Only this time, I think it's much, much worse, because now they have no reason to ever trust that we will ever negotiate in good faith ever again.
Oh, we already lost that. We lost that, I want to say 2 wars ago with them, when the last time we killed their negotiating team. They're not negotiating with us. It's so entertaining to me to watch Trump sit there and keep repeating how he's in talks and he's making all these demands. And meanwhile, we know, stop for a second, we know that the Iranians are absolutely not talking with them. There are absolutely no direct talks whatsoever. The bare minimum that they have is a little bit through Pakistan, that there seems to be some amount of communication, but it is very tenuous. There's no deal. And there's, I believe, 4 main principal items that the Iranians are from their perspective, they will not even entertain negotiating with us until we agree to those things. And that doesn't seem to be happening because the Trump people, as he said, it was a garbage idea. He threw it out. I think he said he threw it out, or he didn't bother reading it past the first one. So, I don't understand who is he negotiating with someone? Is his staff pretending and have somebody pretending like people have Santa Claus call their children if they're not behaving? Is somebody pretending to be, Iranian leadership and talking to Trump? Is he delusional? I don't know. But I know that the Iranians are not speaking with us. I know that. So whatever he says they're saying is not what they're saying, because they're not talking.
This is kind of like in politics when, a new administration takes over, they're basically given what is considered a 100-day grace period to get done what is their top priority. And then, you go back to business as usual, get nothing done. This is kind of like warfare. If you do not get whatever your intentions were, it's not 100 days, but, say within the first few days to maybe the first few weeks. If you are not making anywhere near the progress that you think you're making, then you've already lost. The Sun Tzu art of war.
They don't even have a mission. They don't have a mission.
Oh,
How
well,
can you make progress without a mission?
well, if I could, please. So the intention, of course, is to try to get the Strait of Hormuz opened and on the terms that is best suited for what the Western interests are, led by the United States and Israel. And as Iran has shown time and again, they are the ones holding the cards, and they are not going to give up those cards. And if you start bombing them again, the only thing you're doing, first of all, the one thing that they are universally showing beyond any doubt is that if you think, and this is what I say to anybody who comes on our channel and tries to, get like smart with their mouth with us about the fact that we focus so much on Israel. First of all, I'm convinced all of you are agents of Israel if you start talking like that. Here's what we know. The Israel lobby's power is it's omnipotent. It is omnipotent. It is omnipresent. It's what dictates our policy, domestic and foreign. If they say we are going to go back to war, then that's the way it's going to be. And I do believe, as we'll get in later in the show regarding Ori Solomon, I think that the Samson option is what's at play here. I think that is a very serious thing, because the more the walls are closing in on Israel, the more people are starting to understand that there's got to be a logistical reason as to why no one ever says anything that prevents them from achieving their goals. And to me, there's only one possible reason, and that is we go, you all go. That's basically that's how they have been able to get where they are. That's my thought.
Maybe, but I think that they're going to get stopped long before that happens. Like they're going to just cease to exist. Every time we hit Iran is bombing the shit out of UAE, Kuwait, Ziohel, and all of our assets are just being eroded. Like everything that Ziohel has us do to Iran is coming back to them tenfold. So in a way, and I've been saying this for years. You could probably go back and find a clip me saying this. Like, I kind of want them to fuck with Iran. I do, because that seems to be the only way this will end. Unfortunately, like that, I wish it didn't seem like that, but they need to be annihilated.
We're also at a point now where I know everybody has just kind of treated Trump's overt rhetoric as, oh, that's just Trump being Trump. That's what he does. But in reality, when you make statements like this, at some point, it's going to be taken seriously to the extent in which we have officially isolated ourselves from any good faith negotiation. And this is exactly what we mean.
During a cabinet meeting at the White House Wednesday, he's making progress in negotiating the end of the war, though Trump rejected an Iranian state TV report that he may agree to a deal to restore shipping through the Strait of Hormuz to pre-war levels within a month, with Iran and Oman jointly managing traffic. This is the president being questioned by ABC News reporter Rachel Scott.
Would you accept a short-term deal that allows Iran and Oman to control the strait? And would they have to open it immediately, or would you be open to that happening over a period of time?
Can I just say...
Wait, here's the thing. I have so much I want to say about this, but it's a very short clip. So let's just let it play, and then we can talk about it, because it's short.
The one thing I wanted to say is, when you consider how short Rubio is and the way that Trump is hunched over in such a way that makes Rubio look like a giant next to him, Trumpy boy, you need to work on your posture, pal. Just a little bit.
All right, so go back. So she's asking him about him getting this deal to open the strait.
Correct.
No, the strait's going to be open to everybody.
And who would control it?
It's international waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiation that we have. They would like to control it. Nobody's going to control it. It's international waters, and Oman will behave just like everybody else, so we'll have to blow them up. They understand that. They'll be fine.
Okay. So if what you heard, and again, that was it. That was the gist of it. We could take it down. It just goes into the next segment. But we need to talk about this, people. So let's have a little bit
just so that people have an idea of what this map actually looks like and where Oman is. So Oman is on the southern end of the Strait of Hormuz.
Correct. We're going to have a little geography lesson. Well, all right. We'll start out with in this edition of Leave These People the Fuck Alone, Iran, geography. So that teeny little curve that almost looks like where your your stomach goes into your large intestine, that little thing there that says Strait of Hormuz.
Yes,
okay, so that is Oman on the south side is Oman, and on the north side of that, the other side is Iran. This whole thing at like its widest is like 36 miles. So let me be very, very clear, okay? Nowhere in any documentation or any international anything is that strait considered international waters. That strait is so narrow that the waters are literally overlap between the territory of Oman and the territory of Iran. So there actually is no international water there. So that would be like China claiming that the Hudson is international water and they want to get in there. Like this is how obscene this is. The fact that he called it international waters is, and Marco Rubio, and they all just sit there. They all just sit there like such little fucking cucks.
Well, that's
I don't even, it's so, and then say what you want to say, because then we have to get onto that. Of course, he just literally threatened to blow up an ally, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, what's an ally these days? You know, nothing is surprising anymore because the empire is spiraling out of control. They don't know what to do here. And they're basically being told, probably by China and possibly even Russia, that if you proceed with carpet bombing of this area, we will go to war with you. Like this is World War III.
It's not even, but the problem is, and this is something, again, and we've talked about this before. I watch all day long, people do not understand. I'm watching people like Colonel Wilkerson and Larry Johnson and Scott Ritter and Ben Norton and people that really know what's going on in the world, right? We don't have enough weaponry. We don't have the weaponry to go to war with Iran. We don't have it. And the thing is, Iran knows that. And they've been planning for this for more than 20 years. So they know exactly what we have, how much of it we have, and how long it takes us to restock. And we cannot continue in a war with Iran. We're just not capable. We're just not capable. So they're going to call our bluff. And that's what's going to happen. Now, Trump will come back and lie and say he got some great deal, but there's no deal to be had.
No.
Because they are done with us. They get complete control of that because, oh, you know, it's their fucking country. How about that? He said, we're going to oversee it. Well, we'll supervise. Who the caucasity?
We're going to supervise.
I just.
No one's going to control it.
It's untold.
No, we're totally going to supervise it, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the attitude. And
good
again,
luck with that.
Whenever you have a situation, and again, we're not really going to get too deep into this because I don't want to make any presumptions, and neither do you. Whatever the circumstances are surrounding Tulsi's removal, let's call it that. All I say is just look at the evidence around you and look at what's at play. I said that Tulsi, by not responding and condemning Joe Kent when he came out and said that the United States is occupied by Israel, and she decided not to respond to that and basically say that, you know, I defend.
Here's what I know. I know that anybody who claims that people are paid by Soros, I know that you just sit and watch Fox News, okay? Or whatever the other equivalent is. It sounds stupid and you won't like it here.
And let's make one thing very clear. The only people that are paid by Soros are people that will condemn what Trump is doing and support the Democratic Party at the same time. Now, last I checked, Max Blumenthal, Aaron Mate, Ben Norton, Scott Ritter.
None of them are Democrats.
They don't support the Democratic Party at all. In fact, they laugh at people that do. Because
exactly, Travers. Exactly. That was what was the rumor that was originally spread about me, that they all somehow believed because they just were little stooges. And so like I got banned and ghosted from Jimmy Dore because Tim told them I got Soros money. If I had Soros money, I could have won.
Yeah, but then who would you be indebted to? You would have like a certain level of responsibility that you wouldn't want to have to deal with. So
I love that. That's whenever somebody on the right wants to say that somebody on the left is compromised, they just say, oh, they must get Soros money. They don't even know who the fuck they're talking about half the time.
No, but let me tell you, if you're getting money from Alex Soros, George Soros's kid, trust me, everybody would know about it. You don't see them showing up like you saw Kamala and I'm already forgetting.
The idea of somebody like Colonel Wilkerson taking money from Soros or Ritter. You might not agree with a lot of his takes, but they're not paid shills.
And just know where the line is drawn. It's not to say that you can't support people, that you can't support people in the Democratic Party. It all depends, and we're going to get to that shortly. It's a line. Again, there is adherence that one sees that maybe others don't see. And so, for example, the reason we brought up Tulsi is because in her haste, she is now in a situation where she is stepping away, which is something that I think a lot of people were expecting to happen anyway. But the reason she gave that she's stepping away is because her husband has some form of advanced cancer. And when I hear things like that, I'm immediately thinking of Thomas Massey loses his wife.
Mm.
There are things that happen that I'm not saying don't happen, but there's so much coincidence surrounding their removal, whether completely or professionally. And then you have something like this. Remember Elise Stefanik? Apparently, this is the person who is...
I try not to.
Well, apparently, this is the person that is most likely going to replace Tulsi in her position. So here's a little bit of a reminder of who Elise Stefanik is.
Oh.
I am proud to have sponsored or backed every measure to aid Israel that has come before the United States Congress. Every single one.
I am proud to be one of the foremost champions of the Jewish people. We will no longer fund terrorism, anti-Semitism, and anti-Israel hate. That stops immediately.
We will control your thoughts. Guess what, Elise, you fucking tool? All right? I hate Ziohel. I hate people that are from Ziohel that have not renounced Ziohel. I think that they need to be banished off the fucking planet. That's what I think. And I hate them. So what's going to happen now? You're going to send the sheriff? Like, you're not allowed to hate them? Oh, yes.
I was referred back to Ace Ventura. Repent, and thou shalt be saved. It's kind of where we are.
The Strait of Hormuz is still open to everyone but us. That's the beautiful thing about it. So we're just hurting ourselves. And so, it's really great.
What you're having now is a situation where every person, and I mean every person, that is a cabinet member, that is a member of influence within this administration, unequivocally is for the Israel cause. Like, that's not even up for debate. Well, apparently. But isn't that true? I mean, you would agree that it couldn't be more transparent at this point.
That's why they're leaving the administration?
Well, I think Tulsi feigned support for Israel, but when pushed...
Okay, first of all, let me be clear, and I don't know if Tulsi ever would see this. I don't know if she knows anything about who we are or whatever, but I kind of forgot she was even there in the first place, quite honestly, so I don't see why she even bothered making a big statement. Also, I do not think that that's the reason why, although I do believe that, and I feel horrible for her, so those things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
Like, I don't wish anything bad on Tulsi, but the fact that she even took that position in the first place spoke volumes of her, but so has everything she's done since 2016, basically, right? So I'm just, not impressed.
What we have to also recognize is that the longer we delay the inevitable, which is some form of immunity.
Exactly. That's how I felt. The only reason she even probably had to do any public notice is because of what's his name? The one second in command, Kent?
Joe Kent, I said that.
Yeah. So because he took a stand supposedly, which I have doubts about the legitimacy of that. I think that is extremely calculated, and there's a different motive there. Keep your eyes on that one. I don't think that was a moral stand.
Who knows? Again, why does almost 99% of the time, somebody who's making a major move in politics is doing it knowing where they're going to land after they make it. They're not doing it without some form of a safety net. That doesn't happen. But what we do know is, as I was mentioning, if we do not deal with this, and if we do not deal with the fact that Israel is irredeemable, this isn't about the Netanyahu-Milikowski government. Because I'm going to show you now how genocidally insane, not just he is, but how genocidally insane his people really are. Because in my opinion, they're even worse.
אנחנו בתהליך שהכוח שלנו, אנחנו יכולים למנף את הכוח שלנו עם הרבה כיוונים. תצטרך עוד למחוץ את חיזבאללה. אנחנו כרגע נופתים.
Yeah, I don't understand why there's no translation here or why this wasn't put up. But what he's basically telling the audience is that we have currently taken over 60% of Gaza. And now the next step is to take over 70% of Gaza.
Right.
And you're going to hear the crowd in a second.
את חמאס, כן? אנחנו עכשיו ב-60% משטח הרצועה, אתם יודעים את זה. היינו ב-50, עברנו ל-60. הדירקטיבה שלי היא לעבור תלכו לפי הסדר. קודם כל,
so what the crowd is actually...
it's not good this way. Like if you, because you can't really properly translate, so it's really hard. So I don't think that that's a
so
good...
what the crowd is actually saying, because he was insinuating that we are going to get to 70% control over Gaza, and instead what the people are saying is no, 100, which basically means we're going to get rid of all of them, because that's what they do. This is who these people are, and they're not going to change. And so whether or not, people think that there's any salvation for this cause, there just isn't. Colin, I need that clip, please.
You know what? Can we work with what we have? Because he puts everything up and then he doesn't get an order and then he has to pull it down and stuff up. So
I put it in the private chat. Do you have to rag on me every chance you get?
I'm not. I just think we should work with what we have. That's all.
This is part of the same segment. That's, again, I don't know. You're a little feisty tonight.
I'm feisty every night.
Tonight in particular. So there's something really disturbing when they cannot even have a moment of clarity regarding how they conduct business. They don't think anything that they do is inappropriate. In fact, they're so defiant in how they go about their business that they actually think it is acceptable to get the opinion of one Jonathan Pollard. Like, that's the person that needs to be out there voicing their opinion.
Excuse me? Really? This is my life. Jesus fucking Christ.
You're so nice, Jen.
No, but I'm just saying, you people out there in the ethernet.
Well, when I sent it to you a little while ago, I sent it again. So Jonathan Pollard, for whatever reason, who, again, this is a spy. This is a person that did trade secrets against the United States for Israel.
This is that fat fuck, right?
He went to federal prison for a long time. And now he apparently is the person that they're listening to when it comes to advice about how we should be conducting foreign policy.
We don't think geostrategically. Forget about Jolani. Forget about Donald Trump. I am principally worried, first of all, for the welfare of our Druze brothers across the border, but secondarily, if Jolani and his Islamists actually reoccupy that area,
that they will.
We will have the Turks. We will have the Turks right on our border.
We eventually will.
The Turks. The young Turks? Does Cenk know about this? I don't understand, like, how anybody can watch this disgusting bigotry. Because the only person who would even talk like that is a bigot. There's nothing strategic about that. Okay, so you expand and then what? So it's like I move in and then my fence is right next to the Turks.
He looks just like that. He looks just like that guy.
Fucking pig.
Looks just like the guy who says, hey, if I don't steal it, somebody else will. That's their attitude. There's always justification behind their war crimes and crimes against humanity.
Yeah, they
not
are.
so sure
Good luck with that.
that we will have as easy a time with the Turks as we've had with the Iranians.
Easy?
Wait,
Easy.
he thinks he's going to have an easier time with the Turks, he said?
No, listen closely.
Okay.
Easy a time with the Turks as we've had with the Iranians.
We won't have as an easy of a time with the Turks.
Who said that you're having an easy time with the Iranians?
There's that. And well, at least he has some awareness about Turkey. But yeah, no, you won't. You won't, because your country's full of fucking pussy cowards, and our country is not equipped to fight that war. So good luck with Turkey. That sounds fun. This man is just a fucking wackadoo.
Slightly.
Exactly. I think that too.
I've been following Turkish military doctrine, and
The strongest army in the Middle East.
the storm is coming.
Yes, of course. And they're a
I'm
member
not-
of NATO.
And even worse, they're a member of NATO. So I look at Iran as a problem we absolutely have to finish.
Are you the one who's going to finish it?
Well, Iran's the problem that we have to finish. What's so interesting with all of these people is if you take out the word Iran and substitute it with Ziohel, everything they say is so accurate. It's really funny. So like, I'm here, like, that's how I try to envision it in my head. And it just makes it so like, I'm trying to will that into the world. Because yes, we do. We have to finish this. I agree.
Animal.
I'll explain what I mean by that. Gaza, same thing, and the Hezbollah. Why? Why am I fixated on this now? Because we have to be prepared for the next war, which will be probably against Turkey and Egypt. So, I hope not also, but we, hope, you remember, it was the last demon out of Pandora's box. And there's a reason.
Wait. Turkey was the last demon?
Yeah, apparently. They'll come up with another one after that.
Okay, so so I'm just curious because this is someone that's claiming the need for Jews to be protected, the Jewish state, Jewish religion. He's wearing the fucking tiny hat, the whole thing, right? And he's sitting there and talking about Greek mythology. So I obviously he's obviously a very pious man, a very religious man. Can you make him go away? He's disgusting.
Yeah, he's pretty disgusting, but he's also somebody who, again, is there's a really good photograph that I think captures this well. And I think I had either saved it or I'd sent it to Colin. But it's hard to believe that this is real. And Colin, if you can pull this up. Why did it do that?
Because it's amazing to me. It's these animals will never, I hate even calling them animals because I like animals. Like that's not even
vermin.
Well, they are. They're vermin.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're vermin. But
they're
never going to be satisfied. So there's always going to be another war. No matter how big your fucking Zio state gets, it's going to border somebody. And that's what their problem is, because that's basically, they can't get along well with other people. They're incapable. These people are incapable of sharing the planet with the rest of us. They're just not. And we need to escort them off.
I wasn't sure if this photo of Gavir was actually real or not, but it turns out that it is. He actually did make this sadistic face at these.
I'm sure he did. Why wouldn't you think that's real?
Well, some thought that it was an AI or that, it was a photo that he didn't actually do that. But
no, you don't need to use AI for this guy. Why would you?
No.
This is him.
But what this photo actually shows is it's very true. We are bounded to the Zio cause. And anybody, and I do mean anybody, because look, I'm not going to say anything good about John Cornyn, but Ken Paxton, who has a lot of dirt under his fingernails, he gets christened by Trump and goes out and wins the Texas Senate primary runoff election on Tuesday.
Okay, so you're not saying anything good about Cornyn, but there's a laundry list of shit we could say that's bad about Cornyn. So that is by no means a cause worth taking up.
No, but what I'm saying is that Trump still does have the Midas touch in many respects with his base, which is a scary prospect because he makes it so obvious that this is who we are conscripted to. We have to answer to this diabolical cause, which is never going to go away until we cut him off at the head. Like, that's the only way.
Look at this picture for a second, guys, how fucked up this is. I mean, yeah, it's a meme, and if you took the meme stuff off of it and just literally looked at the picture, you have a guy with a t-shirt that says "Not another bomb." And he's the one being violently assaulted and mocked. The man who's saying, please stop killing people.
Nana poo poo.
Right. And just, that's what's so ridiculous. They're making it be like a taxpayer. It's a stupid meme. I don't know why they bothered making it a meme. It's its own meme. I mean,
it is.
Yeah. Yes, it's a real photo. We're not showing it for the taxpayer, whatever. That stuff is stupid shit, but it is a real photo.
Well, the thing about Gavir is that he really is a sadistic, cold-blooded, scumbag. I mean, there's no other way to describe it.
Yeah.
I think in many ways.
Which is why I wish for him what I wish for him.
Sure. He is not long for this world. He is somebody who.
That's not what I wish for him. That's easy. Death is easy. I wish for him everything that he has wanted for the people that he's holding hostage from Palestine. I want all of that for him and more.
I think that's reasonable.
Oh yes, I don't ever put stuff out there, but I think people should get what they put out there. That's my thought.
That also speaks in so many ways to what we had talked about just this past week regarding the IDF soldier when she so flippantly says, I only killed 4 Palestinians. Only 4. I know people that have killed many more. And not only was it 4 Palestinians, but it was 4 children. She even admitted that there were 4 kids.
Well, of course they were.
And just says it with a grin on her face, with a smirk and a smile, suggesting that she's actually, not only is she proud of it, but she's upset with herself for not killing more. Like, oh,
she doesn't care.
I only got 4. Isn't that terrible? Yeah.
The problem with that, and I have considered, like I did too, but the problem is that's really abusive to animals.
Yeah, that's not good.
So my thought process is along those same lines, but it has to be inanimate objects because it's not okay to do that to animals. But yes, look, again, I'm not saying I think that. Those are the things he does and comes up with and wishes and perpetrates. So I just think that should come back. That's all.
And since we can't seem to get anybody on Capitol Hill because they're all bought off by corporate special interests, we just saw what obviously happened with Massey. This is why we keep telling people that if you think the change is going to come at the ballot box, it's not. It's going to come in the streets. And here's a small example of what just happened on Capitol Hill. I don't think this was Code Pink, but pay attention.
Palestinian hostages now!
Free Palestinian hostages now!
Palestinian hostages now!
Free Palestinian hostages now!
We are outside Congress in Washington, D.C., and as you can see behind me, a group of protesters are kneeling in a stressed position. They are imitating how Israel mistreated members of the global Smooth Flotilla.
There were like 100 police officers here to arrest 7 protesters. We wanted to demonstrate the stress positions that the Palestinian hostages are subjected to. There's approximately more than 4...
There's
I didn't think it was Code Pink by themselves, but here's the thing. Do you think for one second that these cops are not being told, hey, you got to arrest those people?
Of course. Okay. But several things. Well, we could talk about it after. I mean, I have that position is considered torture. So yes. First and foremost, that position that they're emulating is torture, first off. And the fact that they're literally lying down with their hands behind their backs, in the most completely unthreatening position, hence why you put people in that position.
Arrest them.
And yet they're arresting them with like cops in a 3-to-1 fashion of people that have already handcuffed themselves.
They don't
Good
feel
work,
safe,
officers. Good work.
Jen, Shabbos Kessenbaum doesn't feel safe. Remember that. Very important.
These guys are arresting people that are already handcuffed.
This position has now become a symbol of Israel's crimes and total impunity. In recent days, we've seen similar protests inside Australia's parliament, in Belgium, the Netherlands, and in other countries.
There are still several people in the hospital in Turkey. We know that someone was tasered in their genitals, and there were cases of rape. So you can imagine if they do this to people from countries like France or Belgium, you can just imagine what they're doing to Palestinians all the time.
Activists here say they chose to stage a protest on the day of Eid because Palestinians in Gaza are not able to celebrate with their loved ones.
They unfortunately do not have the means to celebrate it. And they're not celebrating it, so we wanted to be out here to show our support, especially for Eid.
Protesters here want to make something very clear. If all the members of the flotilla have been released, there are still thousands of Palestinian hostages who are being sexually abused, mistreated, and tortured. They are often detained without charge in Israeli dungeons, and some of them are children.
Palestinians have no due process. They have no rights. When their lawyers come to visit them, their stories...
It's more than that, but it's more than 9,000. My understanding is it's somewhere between 10 and 11 that we are documented.
Pretty insane, wouldn't you say?
And the kids that they're talking about, for people who don't know, the kids that are being held hostage are there for throwing rocks at tanks and shit like that. And none of the people, I mean, maybe only a handful of people, have been charged or have any sort of process. Like they're just all being held hostage.
Correct.
When lawyers actually are successful in accessing them to represent them in court, they get further tortured and beaten up by the IOF. So it is just a horrific system that needs to end.
Wanted to demonstrate and make sure that people understand the level of torture, the stress positions that they've been subjected to. That needs to stop. We do not want our tax dollars, our hard-earned tax dollars, going to a genocidal apartheid state.
This is something I want everyone who is physically capable that's watching this at some point, get down on your knees, put your face, your forehead on the ground, and put your hands behind your back. Okay? And just sit there and hold that. Hold that and see what that feels like. I happen to know it's not easy to do because even in anything with the toes under like that with yoga, it's really hard. And it's just not something that's remotely comfortable at all. So, that's torture.
The fact that there is no condemnation of any of this behavior, nothing. We look around and we are desperately trying to find answers as to what it's going to take. What is that tipping point? Where do people say, enough is enough? We have to demonstrate, but there's also something to be said for what we talked about on Monday regarding what happened in McMinn County in Tennessee all those years ago. As much as protesting matters, there comes a point where you have to realize that unless you're willing to go to very specific lengths, nothing will change. This is why when everybody went threw their arms up in the air about what happened on January 6, 2021, the fact of the matter is that those guys were not armed. Not the way that people were saying that they were. They weren't walking around with, sawed-off shotguns, AR-15s. But what if they were? Because unfortunately, what we've learned in this country is that when the establishment throws their arms up in the air and says that the world is coming to an end if we don't deal with these people, that means that whatever those people are doing is actually making a difference. And we cannot be afraid to say what needs to be said. Because if we don't, I want to be very clear. If we do not say what needs to be said, we are going to continue to see was a protest. Well,
exactly. January 6th was a protest. Those King's Day things are parades. Correct. See that? That's right. The January 6th was a protest. That's a fine way of looking at it.
You know, and therein, again, I think, as much as anything, is a big problem, because what we have seen, and I think you guys
that
know
is
that.
true. This is true, though. That is true. That position is easier for women. I have seen that video where they have like couples try to do it, and it's easier for the women to do it.
Do you know why that is?
No, there's a few things like that. Like there's this one where they lean on the wall. Like I've seen a few of these things with like a husband and a wife, and he can't do it. And it isn't because he's not strong. It's just there's something about, oh, I know what it is. You start off laying down like that in that position, and women can sit up from it on their knees and men can't.
Interesting.
Without their hands. That was, I think, what it is. Yeah. It's hips.
Again, you're all making too many presumptions about what is and what isn't.
No, but that is true. That's true.
Well, again, it depends on the circle. Everything is relative. I do think that there is something, again, if it was several thousand black men that were charging in and were getting violent, yeah, it could have been really bad. But here's what I will say. If we do not recognize how serious and precarious our situation is, I want to remind you of a story that we covered a few months back in Las Vegas, if you remember. The gentleman's name, he's not a gentleman, he's a
criminal.
He's a criminal.
And a real criminal, not
a real criminal. Like legitimate. Yeah. Like he's somebody who should be, like he's the type of person that should be, forget federal prison, that this is a person who truly should be in The Hague. Ori Solomon was I guess, industrial space property owner in Las Vegas that was running a chemical weapons biolab out of it, hurting people, making them sick, potentially being done for the purposes of weapons of war, killing people. And so, guess what? U.S. drops charges against Israeli whose illegal biolab left neighbors deathly ill.
I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked.
The U.S. government has dropped all federal charges against Ori Solomon, who is now free to leave the U.S. and return to Israel, also known as he's already left the U.S. and is back in Israel, which is where he's from. Solomon's hidden illegal biolab in a rental lockup left neighbors and the police who entered it deathly ill. However, the only charges he now faces related to illegal waste disposal. Oh, you didn't dispose of that correctly in Clark County, Nevada. You know, you're going to have to suffer the consequences of that. There'll be a small fine. The official story now is that the lab was making unlicensed medical testing kits. Of course, that's what they were doing. Those, however, do not commonly make people deathly ill. Jen, would you please?
The U.S. has a track record of turning a blind eye or dropping cases in order to allow Zios to return to the colony. Notably, senior cyber spy Tom Alexandrovich was allowed to flee to the colony in 2025 after meeting several U.S. intelligence officials. I would argue an intelligence official at this point is an oxymoron, while in custody. Alexandrovich had been caught in a PDF sting operation as he arranged to meet a child for sex. Oh, so they love those there. The pro-Zio U.S. law official who allowed him to flee has a history of genocidal comments. Zio Hell is harboring well over 2,000 accused or convicted PDFs and refuses extradition requests. That's quite an ally in a democracy that doesn't comply with extradition.
What
I would actually suggest that is one of the baseline requirements of an ally is extradition. But anyhow, so it has also, assisted a number of accused war criminals to flee back to the colony when they were pursued by justice groups for their crimes in Gaza.
False flags. Solomon's arrest in February came as Israeli and pro-Israeli mouthpieces raised fears of supposed Iranian chemical or biological attacks. So what is the lesson here, ladies and gentlemen? Whenever Israel says that somebody is doing something of a criminal activity as such, believe that they are doing exactly that.
Oh, that's the lesson you got from it? The lesson I got from it is that if you're into little kids, go to the genocide state. Please go there. You should all be there and go down with that ship.
Here is the official announcement about his release.
They were tipped off to one by someone who worked in the house. They raided it early Saturday morning. Video revealing the hundreds of samples collected in vials and jugs.
What in the ever-loving fuck do you think this guy was doing there? This is like somebody...
Nothing good, right? Like nothing in the public interest.
This is like people who defend Anthony Fauci. And I want to remind people that Fauci, as much as anybody, was responsible for the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. And so when it turned out, as Rand Paul, Senator Paul, had rightfully proven, that Fauci was doing gain-of-function research, there are people who still, because he's in the club, they couldn't throw him under the bus. And so now, here we are with a person who clearly was doing some form of espionage in our country, just like Jonathan Pollard, who we've already highlighted is making the rounds right now, and everybody wants to hear what he has to say for some reason. And lo and behold, we have been saying that the reason why Israel gets away with what they get away with is because they truly believe they are above the law. What the hell is this?
No, they don't believe that. They are above the law because there is no more law. I want everybody to be very clear on this. There is no rule of law. Not for countries, there's no rule of law.
And if you commit
and no enforcement of anything anyway.
And make no mistake, these are crimes against humanity. This guy is doing weapons biotesting with the intent to kill. That's why anyone who even got these are not explosions. These are just the vials that people were allowed to breathe in, with God knows what concoctions were involved with this in terms of ammonia and God knows what other different types of hallucinogenic type of chemicals that were put into these things. What about if they were being used as pipe bombs? Did you ever stop to think about that? How many people would be killed as a result? But no, this guy's innocent, or he's simply above the pay grade.
Days later, police identifying this man, Ori Solomon, as the property manager.
We have no knowledge that he had any expertise or is in that area, or he's somewhat of a trained biologist.
The first thing you said is accurate. You have no knowledge.
Who in the hell?
I would end with that.
And this guy's law enforcement. It's hey, you go in front of the camera and talk and just do what we, just say what we want you to say, as if it couldn't be more pathetic.
No.
Court records obtained by Channel 13 show he's an Israeli citizen here on a non-immigrant visa. Authorities say he works for a Chinese citizen who goes by the alias David Herr, who owns the home on Sugar Springs Drive. Herr is in a California jail charged following a 2023 investigation of an alleged illegal biolab in Reedley, California.
So let me get this straight. The Chinaman who is involved with espionage.
You had to call him a
testing.
Chinaman, didn't you?
I can't help myself. So he ends up getting the boot, and he's the one in federal prison, yet the Israeli is allowed to walk scot-free. And we are meant to believe that China's our greatest enemy. And don't get me wrong, there is economic warfare between us and China. That's a fact. Not that it wasn't like we didn't bring it on ourselves. Point being is that when it's China, we will throw the book and then some at anybody who is involved in this. And yet when it's Israel, they can do whatever they want.
See, I don't think we're in an economic war with China. We're fighting ourselves to the bottom, right? Like we're just spiraling a drain, and they're just sort of standing back and letting us, you don't ever interrupt your enemy when they're destroying themselves.
Yeah.
Like they don't need to do anything to us. That's what's so fascinating about it. Like you think we're in a war with, they're not in a war with us. They're just trying to exist.
That's for sure.
Leaders there holding a press.
pathogens, including samples of COVID-19. There was 1,000 transgenic mice that were there.
Investigators say much of what was found in that Fresno warehouse is consistent with materials found in the lab in Las Vegas. Solomon manages more than 30 short-term rental properties, including this one where the biolab was found in Las Vegas.
See, now here's something, okay?
Unbelievable.
Let me tell you something, and I was going to say this before when somebody said something about meth labs. Am I the only one that whenever I see termite tenting, I assume somebody's running a meth lab now? Just asking.
Now it's even worse than that.
But it's just like that. That's when you see something that's a mobile thing, it's such an opportunity to get away with shit.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's not a permanent place.
Vegas.
Well, the man arrested in connection with the biolab discovery in Las Vegas has had federal charges dropped. Earlier this month, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Nevada filed a motion to dismiss the criminal complaint filed against Ori Solomon. He was taken to federal custody back in February after investigators conducted a raid on his Valley home. Officers found a refrigerator containing vials filled with unknown liquids. He was charged with disposing and discharging hazardous waste. Federal prosecutors had charged him with illegal possession of a firearm. An FBI complaint states his immigration status barred him from owning or possessing a gun. State-level charges against him remain ongoing in Las Vegas.
No, they're not. They will get tossed as well.
Why would you bother investigating someone when they're in a country that doesn't respect extradition? What would be the point? You just wasting resources? Just because?
Just the fact that the backstory involves a espionage situation with China, and they act one way towards them and then another way towards Israel. And they even said he was doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, I saw some sort of something about a PDF. So that's a whole other.
Well, that's Alexandrovich. And that was shortly before that as well.
Oh yeah, this guy's just simply a biolab, just accidents happen kind of guy.
And then really, this is, I mean, again, I don't want to be presumptuous or anything, but what is it about Israelis and being pedophiles? Like, what is that about?
Well, when you have the most, I've never, again, they have the strongest sense of entitlement of any person on the planet. And it's sort of like what you say about the Epstein class of people in a way. It's very similar. So the Epstein class and the Zios, there's a similarity in that you get to this level of power where just living a normal life is not satisfying enough. You have to get into some really sick and twisted shit. Also, in order to get to that level of power, chances are you are a psychopath. I would suggest that there are no nice billionaires. All billionaires are bad. Every single one of them is a piece of shit. Every single one of them. Not a single person earned $1 billion. They all stole it, pillaged it, raped people, fucked people, did the environment, the whole thing. Yeah. So those type of people are sick fucks. So when you get a whole bunch of sick fucks together with unlimited money and resources, they do sick fuck shit. That's what this is. So it's really no different than regular people, except for regular people don't have the resources to get away with it for so long. So yeah, they just get to do a whole bunch of sick shit together. That's why.
If you need any further proof that this is not only a get out of jail free card, but this is America is going down with Israel unless we have a revolution, this is proof positive of that. This is so much worse than, I mean, again, I don't want to downgrade.
I do too. By the way, guys, I'm following that in the chat. I do too need to know what a chocolate lover sandwich is. But anywho,
as I was saying,
if it's something like, flirty, sexual, whatever, I still want to know, but I definitely want to know more if it's a food thing.
It's one thing if you find out that we are overrun by people in this country that just simply hate us. They hate us for our freedoms.
Yeah.
It's another thing entirely when the people that are actually in this country are actively working against us. And make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, every person, and I mean everyone, there are no exceptions, every person in the United States today that supports the state of Israel today is actively working against the United States of America. There is no gray area. This is clearly black and white. And this is an example, a prime example of what happens when you don't do anything to stop it. Now we're talking about chemical warfare, where God knows how many people can be killed. You think Solomon's the only one? You think he's the only Israeli national in the United States operating some form of a chemical weapons espionage effort? He just happens to be in Vegas. What about somebody who's in the middle of Montana who's doing this right now? You don't know where these guys are. They're everywhere. And they are vermin, as I like to say.
And yet what's so interesting is that at any opportunity, the Epstein class, the Zio people, will take any opportunity to talk about like Iranian supported terror cells. Yep. We have these terror cells that'll act up. Yeah, we do. They're run by the genocidal entity. They're run by Ziohel. Those are the cells. Yeah.
And so one of the reasons, and I've been very clear about this, and I know, Jen, you probably have a similar sentiment, and I want people to really listen very carefully when I say this. When it comes to having tangible political impact, legitimate political impact, you cannot deny. We talk about Thomas Massie and the impact that he's had. You cannot deny the impact that Zohar Mamdani has had. It's legitimate. He has made a difference. Now, do we think he's done everything that he could be capable of doing right now? Absolutely not. But when you consider, when you really think about it, when you think about how long Israel has had its own parade in New York City since I believe since the very beginning, since 1949. The last time a mayor did not attend the Israel Day Parade in New York, 1964. That's how long this has been.
Chris, what ethnic group runs the hedge fund? Which ethnic group runs the hedge fund? Who are you referring to? Are you referring to people of Jewish faith?
The Jews.
Well, first of all, that's not an ethnic group. Okay.
No.
Judaism is a religion. It's not an ethnic group.
No matter how much they want it to be an ethnic group. No matter how much they want it to be an ethnic group.
They could want that. It's good to want things, but they're not. So, for example, as an Ashkenazi Jew, my ethnic group would be half Russian, half somewhat Austrian Polish, right? That's the ethnic group. So like my bubby made Mandelbrot cookies because that was a very kind of Austrian thing. And a lot of that is Ashkenazi. But there's no ethnic group in charge of the hedge funds. Anywho, there's Zios.
So the significance of him stepping away was felt in the, let's just say, the grifter Zio class. We know about Lizzie Savetsky, obviously. We know she's paid. We know about all these other dumb. No, it's not her. She's at
every
the
time
event.
I see her, I feel like she just needs to go eat something.
Oh, she's a swizzle stick, all right. But
gross.
There is somebody who apparently was really offended by Zoran Muslimini, or whatever you want to call him. Yeah, I know. There's a Sharia takeover of New York City. So this man, Abraham, had something to say about Zoran not showing up for our Israel Day.
You listen carefully. We are not scared. We will not cower. We will not bend the knee. We will remain as proud Jews.
It's not just defend, but this is very poor.
Wait a minute. He says he's not scared, and they will. You're the most scared people on the fucking planet. There's nobody more scared than you. You fucking pussies are more scared than kids that are starving in Sudan. You're so scared. How can he stand there and say you're not scared? You're the most scared people ever. You're yelling into a microphone about a mayor not coming to a parade. That's scared.
He's the kind of guy that calls the police if he catches a spider crawling around his apartment. I mean, he's just one of those guys.
Oh my God.
Mamdani, listen carefully. We are not scared. We will not cower. We will not bend the knee. We will remain as proud Jews.
Okay. Can we just zoom in on this moron?
Nice tallest lady.
There, so much of this just comes off as like a fashion statement. Like there's nothing religious behind any of this.
No, it's and in fact, it's what like the Neturei Karta and people like Rabbi Shapiro would refer to this stuff as heresy, idol worship. Like this is not anything to do with Judaism. And this is the symbolism and the flag and the Zion, like all of that is actually the antithesis of Judaism. So.
As proud as Americans, as proud New Yorkers, as an immigrant, I refuse to let you ruin the city. My family and I came to seek refuge. I refuse to allow you to return us back to the days of servitude. I refuse to allow you to perceive yourself as more supreme than the rest of us.
He doesn't perceive himself as more supreme than the rest of you. He is more supreme than the rest of you. And he demonstrates that by not celebrating your genocide with you.
Well, and here's the thing that you have to remember, Jen.
We're all more superior, actually. Yeah.
Well, Jen, that's the thing you have to remember. It's not that he sees himself as superior. We are simply superior because you are so goddamn inferior. You're human slime. All of you. And it is proof.
It's so funny because again, if you reverse it, that's exactly how I feel looking at this picture. Like I really do. Yeah. So it's really, they have it right. It's just, we got it. Like they just have to reverse it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Mr. Mamdani, you're fooling no one. Your time is up. Get the hell out of Gracie Mansion.
You know, I have to say, considering the fact that Trump's presidency, his second term, is moving as slowly as any presidential term in the history of the presidency.
Do you know what I'm getting from this guy? I'm getting some of this.
Seriously?
I am. I can't with this man. This man is standing there yelling he's not scared to a mansion that Mamdani probably isn't even in. And if Mamdani was actually standing there, this pussy probably wouldn't even say a thing. Because you are, in fact, scared, Abraham. You're so scared. You're scared of a man who wants to give food to people at more reasonable prices. Yeah, that means you're a fucking pussy.
No, the thing that they're scared of, which I think is legitimate, I do think it's legitimate, what they're actually scared of, and rightfully so, that their stranglehold over our country is slipping through their fingers. And they know it.
Exactly. They're losing their grasp of privilege. They're clinging on to their privilege for dear life. And that is what is threatening to them. They don't feel comfortable. They are not being seen and being as prioritized as much as they should be. And so that is what is threatening to them.
Remember what I said on the last live stream? I said, do you know who's going to benefit the most once Israel no longer exists? Psychotherapists. They're all going to be on the couch all day, every day.
Well, for therapists that'll accept them, as patients, there's people that I know that are my therapist would never accept a Zio as a patient.
Smart, no matter how much they pay, but some will. We'll see.
This is for Rama, his wife. I know in Syria, and ask your parents in Damascus. You used to take to the streets to us Jews and tell us, اليهود كلابنا وفلسطين بلادنا. Palestine is ours and the Jews are our dogs. I'm here to tell you something different. Israel is ours. New York City is ours. The Jews are the diamonds on the crown over your head.
Okay, so let's talk about Abraham. Okay, so from that I gathered that Abraham is Syrian. Okay.
Yes.
So Abraham, is that what he was saying? Okay, so yes, Abraham is a Syrian Jew. Okay. Let's talk about Syrian Jews, shall we?
Sephardic Jews? Yeah, let's talk about the Sephardic
Syrian Jews.
Yeah.
Syrian Jews in this country I'm going to take the same position that I do with other emigres from other countries in terms of when they criticize. It's based on their wallet, their finances. So this guy is probably wealthy, probably didn't like what happened to his way of life, got bitter. It didn't work for him anymore. And so now he's here. Right. So that is because that is not someone who has been like, I don't know, immigrating through hardship and hard times. That is somebody who has money and resources and doesn't like his privilege being threatened. That's what that is.
Mayor Zoran Mamdani will not attend the Israel parade, the first New York City mayor to skip the event since 1964, sparking controversy and protests over anti-Semitism and policy. Now, I don't know who the New York City mayor was in 1964, but it is entirely possible that maybe they were throwing a little bit of, shade at the fact that maybe a lot of people did think that Israel might have had something to do with JFK's removal less than a year prior. I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't know that that's the connection or the fact that it just wasn't a big as a deal and the Zio lobby didn't have the same financial pull at that point in time. They were just building up. So that's why.
Yeah. And again, I think that this is a pretty big deal. Colin, can you scroll, please? For the last 61 years, every single sitting mayor of New York City has joined the parade, which is the biggest such celebration outside the Jewish state itself. The theme of the 2026 Israel Day on 5th is Proud Americans, Proud Zionists. See, those two things can't go together. They just can't. In a statement to the Jewish Telegraph Agency, just remember, guys, and this is why another thing you have to pay attention to, and Colin, please grab that other clip. I want you all to be I want you all to clearly understand this when we say, whenever you hear somebody say that they don't take AIPAC money, that is a cop-out. There are so many pro-Israel organization nonprofits that give money hand over fist to these political candidates. AIPAC just happens to be the most out in front, but there are many others. And the JTA is another one of these organizations within their coalition that makes sure that their cause continues to be funded. What's going to be more interesting to see how much more money they're going to have to throw at this once they realize that people are going to start stepping up in a major way over the next several years to basically break them, because that's what's going to happen. I look forward to joining and hosting many community events celebrating Jewish life in New York and the rich Jewish history and the culture of our city. I'm just not celebrating Israel. And that is what makes a mayor who truly, first of all, he's a hell of a politician. You cannot take anything away from Zoran in terms of his political acumen. He's very good at this.
That's the problem. That's where I get the Obama vibes from him. He's extremely smooth.
Yeah, he is smooth, but that doesn't mean that he's not good at what he does.
No, I am suspect of people that are smooth.
Yeah, as you should be. While I will not be attending the Israeli Day Parade, my lack of attendance should not be mistaken for a refusal to provide security or the necessary permits for its safety. I've been very clear. I believe in equal rights for all people everywhere. That principle guides me consistently. So what he's saying is he doesn't believe in an ethno-state. Look at those
and more importantly, he believes that as the mayor of New York, it's not his job to be celebrating another nation state at a parade. Why would he do that? Does he come out for Lebanon Day? Does he come out for Costa Rica Day? I mean, I don't like, does every country have a day, or it's only Zio Hell that has a day?
Who is not wearing the ribbon?
Exactly.
Well, maybe we have to show him how to wear the yellow ribbon, because that's basically what's going to happen. Scroll down. Keep going, Colin. Every mayor of New York City has marched in the Israel Day Parade. Moshe Davis, former executive of the mayor's office to combat anti-Semitism under Mayor Eric Adams, told the Jerusalem Post, it's a celebration of the Jewish community and once again equating Judaism and Zionism, shocker, that helped build this city and the enduring relationship between New York and Israel. Like I said, of all the things that Zoran has done since he has taken that office, He has basically not been renewing the governmental contracts between the city of New York and the state of Israel. And as I said, and I said to you, as I'll say now, that is grounds for assassination. Like, that's how serious that is, what he's doing. He's fucking with their money supply. And once that starts, now you understand why they are raving lunatics in the street and they have to come after him with everything they have. Because, again, he's just acting pretty much.
When I say he's smooth, I'm talking about his political acumen. I'm talking about how he interacts with people, how he handles a room, how he handles himself, how he goes in and out of spaces. I assure you, he is one of the smoothest politicians that is out there right now.
Oh,
I promise you. I'm not saying he doesn't take a stand. Those are different things. I'm saying what makes me cautious is when people are also very smooth. Okay.
A relationship that has made our hospitals, our universities, and our economy stronger. To skip this parade is an affront to our history and the contributions that have made New York great. Not true. But, you know, you can kvetch about it a little bit more.
Me?
So scroll down a little bit more.
You want me to continue reading this nonsense about the Israel
from
parade?
Rabbi right there. That's it.
Rabbi Mark Schneier of the Orthodox Hampton Synagogue addressed Mamdani directly, saying, "Nobody wants you at the Celebrate Israel parade anyway. We don't want you, your rhetoric, and your diatribe to ruin our proud day." Oh, well, I'm sure he had a tough time sleeping that night, Rabbi. Woo! Sure, that kept him up. How's he going to get through that? The group End Jew Hatred held, somebody look up how long that's existed. The group End Jew Hatred held a large protest outside Mamdani's residence, Gracie Mansion, on Tuesday night. End Jew Hatred organized the rally to protest Mamdani's refusal to stop religious freedom violations against the Jewish people. This included his veto in April of a bill that would have protected educational facilities from protests in legislative attempt to combat anti-Semitism.
Everything's
Could
anti-Semitic.
you be referring to religious schools at synagogues that are hosting illegal land sales? Because that would get people really pissed off and protesting. And you just also happen to have a school, so you can conveniently say that that's the problem, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Islamists and radical mobs have flooded our streets. Oh my God, they have?
Islamists.
Wait. Where are they? Islamists and radical mobs. That's kind of like the radical secularists. Okay. Have flooded our streets and attacked houses of worship. We will not be intimidated. Take back our streets. The promotional materials read. I can't take this seriously. You've got to make it stop, please. Thank you. Make that go away. I cannot take that seriously. That is some stupid ass shit. You people, and I'm talking to anybody who would consider themselves spoken for in that article. You people will not survive this world. You just won't. You're just too soft, and you're not capable. So I suggest, honestly, end it now, please. It'll solve it for all of us.
And Cheese Rock is right. You know, who is really having these parades and protests now, realizing that it's just an excuse to get out and get some sun, I suppose. Because in the end, this will not create those changes. And Colin, can I please have that clip? I want to be clear that.
Here it is. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of
Knew
these.
It was something new. You know what? Whatever it is, we have other things. Please.
No. I sent this twice. So I just sent it. I sent it again.
What is this that we need now?
I want you to see what happens when people lose their mind. I want you to see why this is such a problem. Colin, I'm going to send it for no, I'm going to send it one more time. And it's a Facebook it's a Facebook clip. I just sent it again, and it says that it went. So if it didn't come through, again, I sent this earlier. Okay, now you got it.
You very well
Third
might
time's
not
the
have
charm.
gotten it. Just
Third
like how I
time's-
send you things, but you don't get them. It happens.
Well, hold on. Sometimes you send things, but I don't know where you're sending it to. You may send it to
No,
Instagram.
I text you things all the time, and you'll see the writing, but not the actual thing I sent you doesn't come
Sometimes
through.
sometimes what you may send, the file size may be too big. I mean, that's
It
possible.
could be whatever it is. My point is sometimes people don't get things.
All right, so let me set the stage for you and why this is funny. So, as you all just saw, Mr. Sephardic Abraham, or however he goes by.
He's
whatever
not
the hell-
Sephardic. If he's a Syrian Jew, then he's Mizrahi Jew. But
Oh,
continue.
Mizrahi. Okay, well, forgive me.
If he's
well,
Syrian, I got
Sephardic
the
is-
gist he was Syrian.
Sephardic is Egyptian. Is that what that is?
No, Sephardic is Iberian, which would be Spain and
Okay.
Portugal.
Okay.
Mizrahi is
Right.
is Asian. Yeah.
So the reason this is funny is because, as we said, these guys are losing their mind. And as you can imagine, Abraham was his message was soundly rejected by everyone outside of that parade. He was made fun of. He was chastised, as he should be. And that seemed to not sit too well with him. Apparently he,
You know why?
That's no problem. Yeah.
You know why it doesn't sit well with him. That's
Stop
part of it,
reminding him
guys.
of why he has such hatred at the world. I would say, a lot of times you can kind of tell with a lot of these guys as to why they're like this. But here's his response to people not thinking too highly of his emotional speech on Israel Parade Day.
Titled lefty elitists who support terrorism and communism have decided to take to Twitter to attack my video, to attack my speech. They're telling me I'm too loud. They're calling me a supremacist. You know why? Because I said these are our streets, that we own New York. They said, what do you mean? You don't own New York. What are you saying, that the Zionists own New York? Are you saying that Jews own New York? And they were waiting for me to say, no, that's not what I meant. Are you insane? But I'm not going to do that because I know what a gaslighting argument is. And that's exactly what this is. These mother effers want to tell me I'm unhinged. They want to tell me I'm too loud while they take the street day in and day out for the past 3 goddamn years with their faces covered with gas, with fires, screaming, terrorizing neighborhoods and communities. And they're going to
Yeah, there's a fucking genocide happening, Avraham. Fucking loser. And by the way, for people who are interested, he is actually a Semite. So when I say that I'm anti-Semitic, it's for people like this guy. He's now in that category. I dislike this Semite. I'm anti this Semite.
You know, Robin, the one thing you will find here on our channel is that this is a small but mighty channel, and the community is extremely welcoming and it's extremely committed. We may not have the biggest audience, but we have a great audience. And
Yeah,
you
we
will
do.
definitely enjoy being here, and we appreciate you being here.
tell me I'm too loud. These go to the streets and say, whose streets are these? Our streets. They're allowed to say that. And we can't imply that it's Muslims trying to take over New York. But the second I say it's my street, oh, it's a Jew trying to take over.
I want to meet these Muslims. Does anybody have a connection to the Muslims that are trying to take over New York? Do they work with Mamdani? Do they control Mamdani? Does anybody know any of them? I'd interview them even if they have to cover their faces, because I understand being that kind of Muslim would be, you don't want your face to get out there. But please, I want to know who the Muslims are who are taking over. I want to know them.
Yeah, sure. I want to know him too. But in this case, this gorilla, he can't get a banana. And so he's getting a little hungry. He's getting a little hangry. So have a little sympathy.
New York City. You see, we understand your gaslighting argument. The reason I don't really give a shit is because I don't need your acceptance. I don't want.
You clearly not only give a shit, but you are raging over this.
Oh, yeah.
Raging
And you know
over
why.
it.
I'm not going to put it up again, but people that get like this, that get this butt hurt, they are cowards. You know, that was so, like I said before, he's like, we're not scared. Yeah, you are. You live your whole life scared. Your whole fucking life, Abraham. You are a scaredy puss.
want your acceptance. I want you nowhere near me. See, my passion is based on my experience, my lived experience as a Jew born and displaced from Syria. What me and my community are experiencing today is a recreation of the same trauma, the same violence, the same discrimination that took to the streets in Syria, terrorized us, leading to our displacement from a home we occupied prior to the Islamic conquest, Arabizing the entire region.
Oh, Abraham, you're such a fucking tool. There was no Arab conquest. You weren't kicked out of Syria because of the Arabs. You were kicked out of Syria because of the Zionists. Yeah, that's what happened. The same people that you're now licking their taint, those were the people who kicked your fucking family out of Syria. Stupid piece of shit. I can't deal with these people.
And you're right. And that's why this is such a big problem. And that's why it becomes more and more clear that the unification that we seek around these key issues, specifically Israel, is why we have to get out from under this idea that certain people can't change. Now, we love Norman Finkelstein. I think the world of him. I think he is not only
I didn't know about this, so I'm not sure what you're showing or what you're.
It's brand new. This happened.
Okay, well, all right.
So Norman Finkelstein has a very strong opinion about somebody who I truly believe is trying to do right as best he can, and that is Tucker Carlson. And so
we're back with Tucker. Guys, you know how much Peter loves Tucker. David Hunter, are you there? This is for you. Okay.
Here's Mr. Finkelstein, friend of the show, and we, without question, take what he says into consideration because he's the genuine article.
Why did they suddenly become obsessed? You know, you listen to Tucker Carlson now, there's barely a conversation which is not about Israel. Why did they suddenly become obsessed with that? And I consider that a troubling development because it's very easy to imagine a Tucker Carlson running for president in 2028 on the platform of the real America first, because now he's saying Trump abandoned that slogan. He's betrayed his campaign promises. A campaign platform of the real America first and the wire pullers who are controlling our country. Those outsiders with internal support, what was called, beginning with the Spanish Civil War, they were called the fifth column. There were 4 columns of troops who were marching on Madrid. Those who wanted to overthrow the Franco's people who wanted to overthrow the Spanish Republic. And then it was said by the loyalists, those who were loyal to Spain, the Republic, they said there's a 5th column inside Madrid.
I feel like we're getting kind of way off here. I'm not sure.
And now Jews here in the US are the 5th column, working with the wire pullers in Israel who control the Trump administration because they have secret information on him and
I mean, they do, Mr. Finkelstein. There's no other logical explanation at this point. And so the one thing, and I think you would agree with this, and this is something that you've been a fierce advocate for, and I think that this is where Norman is going with this, is the conflation of Zionism and Judaism is now coming home to roost in a very volatile kind of way.
Oh, we're in a problem. And what he's been saying is the major problem is now we really are dealing with a lot of anti-Jew hate. We are.
Yes.
And as somebody, like I've said, I believe people are allowed to hate whoever they want to, but I'd be ignorant to not acknowledge that it is happening. So these concerns are very valid. They're proving to be true. And I do find it suspect what he's saying. Like, why is Tucker now so obsessed with this? Really? Now he finally learned the shit? Like, I just, it is kind of suspect to me too, I guess. Like, why are they just so into it now?
Well, the reason I'm still of the mind that the reason why Tucker has come around on this issue in such a profound way is because of the fact that I think Tucker sits in a very high position in society, and he's well aware of what's happening in this country. Like, he senses a collapsing empire.
If this is true, that doesn't surprise me either. Okay, because this has been going on. There's a lot of people that are finding it very, very difficult to swallow any sort of, pill that involves Chomsky being part of the Epstein class.
He was friends with him.
Absolutely. And so for people that are very, very loyal to Chomsky, this is very triggering. So I get that too. Yeah.
Epstein. And according to Tucker Carlson, literally, this is not hyperbole. Tucker Carlson says, Trump, poor Trump, he's sweating at night. He's being blackmailed with the Epstein files by Israel. I don't recall he explicitly saying the Epstein files, but he says he's being, others have said it, obviously. He's being black. I know a lot of people on the left is completely bonkers at this point. I mean, it's not really a left. You're talking about the historic left, it has nothing to do with it. So it's very easy to imagine the real America first with those treasonous American Jews working hand in glove with the wire pullers in Israel. That could take off. That could take off.
It has taken off. But there is a pretty heavy dose of truth to it, which I really want people to understand. And we have seen that and Norman knows this. You know this. Our very smart audience knows this. Zionism, I always say that Zionism has two cards, one card to play, but truly it's two cards. The most important card that they have left to play is anti-Muslim bigotry. That's real. And they are putting all of their chips on the table into that particular category. The other category is to die on the hill of conflating Zionism and Judaism as one and the same. They will not allow any daylight to come in between that, no matter how significant this anti-Semitic movement, it's not even anti-Semitic, it's an anti-Jewish movement, continues to grow leaps and bounds in the United States. But the only feet you can lay this at is at Zionism, not Tucker Carlson.
No. And as far as Chomsky, Robin's like, I'm a little behind, but you agree about him, several books by him, and you think Epstein conned him. No. Now, I don't know what his level of knowledge or participation is, but we can't simultaneously believe that Chomsky is one of the most brilliant people on the planet and yet was able to be conned by Jeffrey Epstein. Those two things don't go together. They just don't. So again, and I'm not saying that Chomsky did or didn't know. I don't know, but I don't think he was conned.
Fair.
You know what's the biggest problem, my friend or comrade? The biggest problem is a lot of what Trump says is true. That's the problem. American Jews carried on, especially as a minority. Now, I'm not saying as a minority you're obliged to tone it down. No. But you have to recognize Jews, they're 2% of the American people, less than 2%. That puts you in a precarious position. The Jewish leadership carried on a completely irresponsible, completely brazen, flagrant way.
I'm not exactly sure what he's saying so much in reference to Tucker, other than what I see people saying that he's just very distrustful, and I get that.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, we've talked about Tucker. He definitely has connections to deep state, and you know what that is, what the nature of that is now, who knows? But yeah, there's reason to be suspect. There
But you
is.
know what? But you know what? If politics has taught us anything, and it's taught us quite a bit, and I've often said this, I said it to you when we first started, I say it now, I say it to everybody. If you are not prepared to be let down, and if you are not suspect of everybody in politics, then get out.
And I agree. I think the timing of it is very much like that for a variety of reasons. And so on the one hand, I'll support somebody's message when it's the right message, but that doesn't mean that I support the messenger, you know? So he's whatever
again,
he is. Like, I don't.
This gets back to the same thing we talked about with RFK. I thought RFK was 1,000% correct when he talked about private equity, as well as the food additives that we consume on a regular basis. And what we learned from that is it's the right message and the wrong messenger. I think people are concerned that Tucker, who is an extremely intelligent individual, is evil intended, but the fact of the matter is we have become a nation divided along social lines, somewhat economic lines, but in reality, it's all class lines. But Tucker says things that leads one to believe that he is a class traitor. Now, maybe he's not. Maybe he really is protected in a way that he can't be touched. And I would
Maybe it is controlled opposition. Like, we don't know. That's why all you can do is respect and support the message and don't worry about the messengers. I think people are getting away. We talk about it like no one person, we don't have to agree with someone on everything. No one person is going to have the answer. No one person is going to be worthy of, you know, all of your respect and admiration all the time. That's just, it's just unrealistic.
And this is another example of where I think, now, do I think Tucker is considering a run for president? Probably. I wouldn't rule it out, even though I think Thomas Massie is the one who should do it. But if it is the fact that Tucker is setting himself up for a presidential run, I want you all to listen very carefully to what I think is an immensely important topic. In terms of foreign policy, Israel is without question the eye of the hurricane. You know, everything revolves around Israel when it comes to foreign policy. When it comes to domestic policy, the most crucial issue that we are facing in the United States today, bar none, are these AI data centers controlled by the Zionist billionaire class. Like, this is a serious fucking problem, and it's a very big problem in a multitude of different ways. Environmentally, economically, socially, it's bad news all the way around. And when somebody like, again, I'm just referencing him because he's such a douchebag, when Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, is going on TV and spouting about how wonderful these data centers are, you know to believe the opposite, like the complete opposite. Whatever he's selling, you take the other road. And that's why when Tucker had on Richard Werner the other day, here's what they discussed, and this to me is very important.
It's digital control systems where we have no more control over our liquid assets. It will be, of course, programmable, permission-based. So only what the central planners allow you to use your money for, at what time and place and location will be permitted. And if you're in the wrong place, it's not going to work. And if you're buying the wrong book title, it's not going to work, and so on. I mean, there's no limit to how much you can fine-tune and control. Oh, but they don't have so much power. They can't control, you know, millions of people. Well, this is what the drive to build all these hundreds, in fact, thousands of data centers is about. It is an organizational challenge to micromanage the world's population through the new financial world order. Yes. but they're working on solving that. AI is really about that. If AI was about helping us to be more productive, the principle of decentralization would be applied, because any human organization and anything where humans are involved, if you introduce the principle of decentralization, subsidiarity, it will be more productive.
So you guys need to see the interconnectedness of what's going on here. All right. So you see these data centers that are being built here at a rate that is so far exponential
Staggering.
to anything other country, in completely disproportionate in terms of population, and anything they could say is to justify it. So you have all these data centers being built that are bad for the environment, and they, I think, are also going to correlate with the cop cities that have all been being built. And that's what we're dealing with now. That's what they're gearing up for. Now, I would suggest that direct action is going to have to be taken regarding these data centers, and that this very well might be the hill that some of the people actually do literally die on in some of these communities that are having to stand up against these data centers. Because you're going into communities of people that are armed. You're going into red states of armed people, and you're building things that are hurting their people. What could go wrong? So I do think that what we're going to see, and I'm hoping, direct action in regard of these data centers, because this is the thing we have to stand up against right now.
1000%. And I want to give a shout out to David Nino Rodriguez. David Nino Rodriguez lives along the Rio Grande in New Mexico. Here is what is happening in his backyard.
So I'm currently standing in the Rio Grande River right now. This is what it looks like right here, all dirt. All dirt.
Unbelievable. Not though. Not.
You're looking at an environmental catastrophe, what this is. The new Meta data center in Los Lunas, New Mexico, takes 75 million gallons per year to cool down the data center. And this is what we're left with.
I am so sick of these AI fucking monkey Sam Altman looking motherfucker people. Okay? Like that guy and all these fucking douche canoes that are going around like talking like they're so great. What are they doing?
Destroying the world.
Well, yes,
destroying our
but there's
country.
not going to be anybody there. They're all it reminds me of Don't Look Up, where it's like, unless they're planning on really colonizing another planet, they're fucking themselves too. So it's amazing that they don't see past one step of richness ahead of themselves. They can't see past 1/4 of gains.
And this,
to look at how it might hurt them or their children or their grandchildren. And they don't care because they're psychopaths. That's the point. Back to point number one at the very beginning is all billionaires are pieces of shit. They are. They are.
And this is,
they wish bad things for us.
And this is Zuckerberg's property. But guys, this is 75 million gallons of water a year for one data center, and there are thousands.
Yes, De Jumba Boutique, that is the Rio Grande River that runs through southwestern United States. That is the Rio Grande River, dry. That's what that is.
Yeah, again, we've been telling you guys for how long? We've been saying this since the start of this podcast. We have repeated it 1,000 times over. To all of you deaf morons who didn't want to hear that if you thought Trump was the real problem, you were asleep at the fucking wheel and you deserve what you get. Because we've been trying to tell you that Jen, would you like to show the audience before we continue this who the 4 most dangerous people in the United States are right now?
It's changed though to me. That's part of the big problem is that now I think more of people like Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, like what's
Well,
his
Alex
name?
Karp to me is the most
Right,
dangerous
Alex
one of
Karp.
them all.
That's what I mean. So I feel like it's not sufficient, but I could pull it up though. I do have said thing. You see it?
This, not yet.
Okay.
There we are. Well, it's working its way through. But yeah.
Guys, the new oligarch. I need to do the new. Oh, yes. The new. Guys, we're going to need some villains for some of these newer oligarch graphics. But this is tales of emasculated men vying to destroy the world.
I mean, these really are, when you think about it, these are probably the 4 richest. That doesn't mean that they're the 4 most dangerous per se. But even then, I would argue that they're all dangerous in their own way. And
right. I just need another slide. We need like some more. We just have more of them because they seem to be breeding at a faster rate than we can control. That's what we need to be controlling. We need to really grasp this like billionaire breeding thing and sort of annihilate it.
All right, let's pull this and we'll continue with what Mr. Rodriguez is saying.
Okay.
Another data center is being built in El Paso right now, a Facebook Meta data center. How much more water is that going to take? This is going to be, folks, this is apocalyptic. I've never seen the river like this. By this time of the year, you couldn't even swim in this. It would take you under. The undercurrent would take you out. This is unbelievable. No more water. So what does that mean for the farmland, the ranch lands, the cattle, the houses? I mean, are they soon going to start moving people out of this area? Are they going to start moving people out of here to what, 15-minute cities? You're not going to be able to survive out here? What's going to happen to the agriculture? Folks, what we're looking at here is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this before. I'm sounding the alarm bells. This has never before happened. I've never seen it like this. Bone dry. Bone dry. All of it. Unbelievable. Better write your congressman, because these politicians are as corrupt as they come, all getting paid off for this. So what does this mean? We're going to trade out humanity for AI so they can track and trace you better. And who's bringing this in? Well, it looks like to me, Trump is taking down the deep state, right? He's going after Obama. He's going after everybody, but he's replacing it with AI data centers, ruining the environment.
It's infuriating.
This used to be a gushing river. It's gone. If we don't do something now, folks, humanity's screwed.
Oh, we're there. And to further sound alarms, and I'm going to say this again, like for people who don't know, I spend a lot of time watching people who really know what they're talking about. So like, I don't make things up. Well, I do, but not
Usually.
I do. I make up some things, but not these things. So somewhere in June, July, we're going to start to really be hit with what's been going on in the Strait of Hormuz. By the end of the summer and into the fall, we're going to see food shortages like we haven't seen before. The fertilizer, lack thereof, will then be coming into play, because now you're talking about by the end of the season, we're not going to have the amount of food. And I mean globally, right? I'm not just talking about in this country. This is a global problem that we've created. So yeah, and people do need to be aware. This is definitely going to start to get even worse.
Yeah. There's a reason why we have fought the way that we have for as long as we have. And in so many respects, you know, when someone says, well, why don't you just turn away? Why don't you just, go back to what you were doing? You can't go back to what you were doing.
You're expecting the corporate media
cover this?
To cover this
cover
when
an actual problem?
The data centers, who do you think owns corporate media? The same people that own the data centers. They're all friends. They're all friends.
That's the whole point. And that's the whole point about getting news. You see, we're lucky we get anything out there. We are a channel. Guys, we are no small potatoes. In reality, we're not. We have almost 127,000 subscribers to this channel, and yet just under 400 people are watching right now. Do you know why? Because they bury our channel in a corner. People who watch this
Sabby's on at 8 too. Sabby started at 8. I mean, I'm just saying we compete with people that are in our genre.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
And again, we need more likes. You know, there's a lot of this problem where we are trying to deliver an honest message, and what the system does is they shadow ban. And what that means is they don't remove us completely, because then it would be too obvious. But what they do is make you think that, oh, well, people may subscribe, but they don't really like your channel. We put clips out there that get 3,000 views and 1,000 likes and 400 comments. So when you see that happening, you know that something's wrong. And the reason it's wrong is because of what we're covering here. See, this is real. And this is stuff that actually affects your daily life.
So who, everybody, this is important, who is blocking the fertilizer? Who is blocking what we need around the world to exist? Not Iran. Strait of Hormuz has been open except for us, and, you know, but the U.S. Navy. The U.S. Navy has been blockading the global supply. See, this is the problem. So we're hurting ourselves. We're hurting everyone else too, but we're hurting ourselves. But guys, it's going to get worse. We haven't started to see the effects actually of this. The increase in gas prices that we've seen thus far, that's just bullshit. That's market bullshit, price gouging. They're fucking around. The increase that's going to come will be based on scarcity and demand. It will. We haven't hit that yet. So, yeah.
Well, is our friend up, or is she still snooze?
No, we're not. We're leaving Moby.
Okay. So those that know that probably my greatest, I mean, listen, I've always been involved in politics.
I can't believe we're going to talk about it anyway.
Well, we kind of have to, don't we?
No. Why? We already talked about it. We talked about it the other day. I feel like everybody's talked about it. Even people that don't even know we talk about it have talked about it.
There's a few different reasons why we do talk about it, and I want to be crystal about this, because I think yeah, she's pretty hard to look at. You know, we said that Trump is merely just one cog in the equation. He's one. You know, I mean, that's not to say that Trump doesn't have a significant amount of responsibility. He does. He bears responsibility for a lot of the things that are going on. However, it is pretty clear that when you are getting attacked from a lot of different sides for the purpose of political gamesmanship, you know, we have to remind ourselves that Debbie Wasserman Schultz is somebody who is not just going to go away.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen.
And so I also want to preface this with, you know, Debbie decided to go on, I think it may have been NBC News, but we're going to start here. First, I want to set this stage for people to understand. So the Sun Sentinel is you could call it the newspaper, but it is the news publication. We'll call it publication. It's the news publication of record in Broward County, Florida. It has been for many decades. And the people who write for this organization, if you scroll down ever so slightly, Colin, I will show that to you guys. There are many people that are part of this problem, but go up. But Anthony Mann is one of those people.
Tell Sabby we're happy to come on and chat with her.
Sure, anytime. Love Sabby. She's good people. So now if you scroll up to the top, what you'll see here is what you call manufacturing consent by the corporate establishment. Just a little, you get the banner headline.
The Sun Sentinel is, first of all, it's a shit rag. like the first time I got an actual physical Sun Sentinel when I moved back to Florida, I read it. I went through it with a red pen. I found so many mistakes. Like, it's really a shit rag. But they love her. And she basically runs their editorial board. The person who loves her runs their editorial board.
Yeah, Mr. Bouchette.
Like Buscetti, whatever,
Buscetti, or whatever
whatever. The head of the editorial board is up her arse.
Yes, he's like an 80-year-old man, and like everything else in politics, the geriatrics never leave. You basically have to remove them in a box.
Most definitely, Sabrina Salvati. Definitely recommend, but don't go right now because I think she's live too. Don't go yet. You go watch hers later. Okay.
Yeah. And so what they're already suggesting, this is again the form of manufacturing consent. Campaign poll shows Wasserman Schultz viewed favorably by Black voters, leading primary matchup. It is being suggested by the Sun Sentinel, led by Tony Mann, that Wasserman Schultz has the Black voter has a favorable opinion of her, and she has 52% of the vote as of right now. Now, if there's one thing that I think is safe to say about Debbie Wasserman Schultz is that her numbers can only go down. They can't go up. So if we scroll down, and this is what shit rags actually say about her. And one more thing. If you just scroll up on her picture for a second, what you will see, ladies and gentlemen, is that lovely yellow pin right under her pearl necklace, as in a legitimate pearl necklace. She is Israel Chai and very proud of it. Let's keep going.
Ugh.
Polls conducted for Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz's campaign. Again, these are internal polls. These are her polls. So we all know that the way it's being phrased is probably extremely favorable to her. She is viewed favorably by Black voters in the district where she seeks re-election, despite strenuous objection to her candidacy from Black candidates running for the same seat and some community leaders. Okay, timeout. So this is the first example of what manufacturing consent actually looks like. Yes, the candidates are rejecting her for obvious reasons, but you failed to mention right off the top that the Broward County Democratic Black Caucus firmly rejects her candidacy. Firmly rejects it. Does not want her running. Does not want her representing a district that already is hurting enough as it is. But the framing is, oh, it's just the candidates and some community leaders.
Can I show everyone what this piece of shit looks like?
Sure.
Okay. Guys.
Oh, Tony Mann.
Hold on. Wait, why is it not working for me?
I don't know.
Well, I don't see it. Do you see it?
I see it at the bottom.
All right. Well, I can't get it to add for some reason.
Okay.
But anywho, I was trying to like share that with people to see this piece of shit because he really, yes, guys. So this guy, and we've talked about him before when we've talked about the journal of yellow journalism, all the news that's fit to piss on. This guy, he's not a journalist. He's not a journalist. He's not a reporter. He's a mouthpiece for people like Debbie and other establishment tools that actually writes for this piece of shit newspaper. This is Anthony Mann. And let me be very, seriously, nobody should give him the time of day. He's garbage. He probably knows he's garbage, but he'll just come out and say whatever Debbie or whoever minions tell him to say. No integrity whatsoever. And that's the political reporter for the Sun Sentinel. So yeah, be familiar with these tools.
All right, so let's get back to the story. Polling conducted by the poll found that Wasserman Schultz, who is white, has higher favorability among African American and Caribbean American Democrats in the 20th congressional district than she has among white voters. That's a hoot. Black voters' views increase her overall favorability among Democrats to 80%. Among the poll's other findings, Wasserman Schultz would win the Democratic primary with a majority of the vote and not, as some of her primary foes and community activists have warned, by finishing in first place, but not with a majority in a crowded primary field. Wasserman
Yep.
Schultz had 52% of the primary vote in the survey. 7 other candidates had a combined total of 43% of the vote, and another 5% were undecided. It was a gratifying result. It's demonstrative of the fact that I have been immersed in the African American and Caribbean American communities in Broward for years. I have shown up. I have been.
Oh, yes, that's what you do. You show up and bully them and bribe them and threaten them and use them and pay off their pastors. That's how you show up, and that's how the majority of them see you.
Correct.
So, nice way to show up.
I have been at the events and organizations and church services and festivals and marches. This is, again, she's not talking about any policy. There is not a single policy that's being discussed here.
No.
This is all about showmanship or showwomanship if she's...
Photo ops. Photo ops.
I have shown up, and showing up matters. Boy, she really doesn't hide it. The poll was conducted by EMC Research for Wasserman Schultz's campaign. Again, I don't know who EMC Research is, which provided results of several questions to the South Florida Sun Sentinel.
Bet you anything, it's a company affiliated with Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Well, let's
the Democratic Party.
Let's see who EMC Research is. Help organizations build stronger brands, blah, blah, blah. I'm not seeing anything in particular right now, but you know what I don't know? I don't know what type of questions are being asked. I don't know if there's any addressing any of the other candidates in the race, which if they are, they're not naming them directly. So
Debbie does her own polls, uses whatever company she uses. Probably somebody in the WCCC gets paid a lot of money to put out a poll that makes it skewed like that. They put this out so that it's sort of that psychological effect that it has on people. When they see that somebody's going to be the winner, they support them. Most people are inclined to support the winner. They put out this absolute bullshit, okay? Because it's not true. That's not a legitimate poll. It just isn't. There's no fucking way that district, which by the way is 80% Black, and Debbie doesn't live in that district, that more than half the people there prefer her to any of 6 other Black candidates.
And they've never been represented by her before, ever. There's that.
Yeah, she's full of shit. This poll is shit, which is why you would need somebody like Tony Mann to propagate your shit. Because an actual journalist would probably look at that poll and look at the methodology and realize that it was garbage and wouldn't post it like somehow it's a legitimate poll. But I know that. And you know that too, don't you, Tony? You whore.
So that's one leg. Colin, can I have the next one, please?
Oh,
okay. I see. So apparently Debbie decided to sit down for an interview.
It's never good. Never looks good.
Back, Democrats were already grappling with the fallout from the release of the party's 2024 election autopsy report. And now they're dealing with the new candid admissions from what we were just talking about from former First Lady Jill Biden on her husband's debate performance during that campaign, casting a cloud over Democrats as they try to take control of Congress in November. Joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz of Florida, who is running for re-election. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Kristen. Thanks for having me.
I would like to start with these new comments by the former First Lady Jill Biden this week. She said she was frightened when former President Joe Biden had that 2024 debate performance. And of course, right after the debate, she came out. She said she thought that he had done a great job. I wonder what you say to voters who hear these new revelations and feel like they were misled.
Well, what I think voters have been saying for the past year, Kristen, in nearly every special election that's taken place across the country, is that they reject the direction that Donald Trump and his MAGA extremists have taken this country, and they repeatedly elected Democratic candidates.
This woman is 59 years old, and she looks like she's 79.
She's older than that. She's 5 years older than me, right?
She's
So
59.
she could be 60.
Well, she's turning 60 this year.
Oh, okay. So right now she's only, wow. I thought
15.
she was, oh, wow.
Mhm.
Debbie.
In many cases, in overwhelmingly or previously held Republican seats, such that they're sending a strong message that they want to make sure that we move forward, that they have candidates who are talking about the issues that matter the most to them, which frankly, from my perspective, representing my constituency, it's very clear they want us to focus singularly on making their life more affordable.
I can't watch this for long. I'm telling you right now, Debbie,
gas, electricity.
Stop this shit. 2 words for you, Debbie. Hyaluronic acid. Seriously. Hyaluronic acid. I shouldn't give you that clue.
And Republicans are totally out of touch.
Congresswoman,
as evidenced by Donald Trump saying that he doesn't care about that.
We are going to talk about the midterms in just a moment, but I want to stay on this topic and these new revelations by the former First Lady. She said she was so
concerned about the cost of living, about life being unaffordable. It was not
into the 2014
things that when you really take a deep dive and look at them, at what things you could have handled better and how you can improve for the future, you're going to have regret. You're going to have frustration. And that frustration is obviously trained on the entity that has produced the report. And the important thing to do is not engage in finger pointing. We have to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off.
I can't. Not to engage in finger pointing from the woman who all she does is point fingers at everybody else.
Trump's fault.
I cannot stomach this. I cannot
Trump's
watch
fault.
this. I cannot watch this anymore. I'm gonna
Hold
fucking
on.
red.
Hold on. All right. So here's where we should have started, but here we go.
God. For re-election in a majority black district under Florida's newly redistricted map, which is drawing some criticism. I want to read part of a statement signed by 10 of the 15 elected members of the Florida DNC. Let you respond to it. It says, quote, at a time when the Supreme Court has gutted the Voting Rights Act, this decision, referring to your decision to run, reinforces the same message Republicans have pushed for years, that black representation does not matter. How do you respond to that allegation, Congresswoman?
I show up.
Well, Kristen, first, this is a majority-minority district, just like the one that I represent now.
Bullshit!
You're a liar! You're a liar!
The numbers are look upable. She's insane.
I want to teach you all. There is a thing, as silly as this is, but I'll explain. The Cubans and the Venezuelans that live in the congressional district that she has represented for the past decade plus, the part of that district that she's represented, these are white Hispanics.
Affluent. White. It's affluent.
Affluent white Hispanics, including where she lives, which is in Weston or Westonzuela, as it has been known for many years now.
Oh my God.
You know, the very people that would be cheering on Maduro's removal, those are the rich psychos that live there, just like the rich psycho Cubans in Miami who cheer on anything that we do to crush the lives of anybody living in Cuba today. It's the same thing. So when she talks like this, but again, she's a sociopath, so she doesn't care. Whatever is good for her goose is good for the gander as long as it works for her. That's how it's
ridiculous.
Beyond ridiculous.
She is so
I represent
ridiculous.
a district now that is 42% Hispanic and 18% Black, and the rest non-Hispanic, white, and other. This district is 42% Black and 20% Hispanic. So I have represented a majority-minority district for years. I know how to stand up for, fight for, and represent diverse communities. And the feedback that I am getting all across Congressional District 20 has been enthusiastic and supportive because they know this is a community. This is a district that knows me. I've represented 9 of the 14 cities in this district. They know me and I know them. And
this is all they can say. Well, this is all she can say.
Fact
of the matter is, she has never represented.
It's so grotesque.
She has never represented these people before. She is trying desperately to stay in power. The reason she is most likely going to stay in power is two reasons. One, she's already got $2.5 million behind her for this very impoverished Black majority district.
And exactly, this is the difference. The minority of what, that's what Peter was saying, the minority of what she speaks that was in her current, that's in her current district is not a vulnerable minority, let us say. Okay, this is a class situation. So it is completely different.
The fact that she would come out there and say, all across the district, they're supporting my efforts to do this.
Fuck, they are, right?
You
They aren't.
The Black caucus of the Democratic Black caucus of Broward County has repeatedly said, get the fuck out of this race. So for her to say that this doesn't matter, it doesn't matter to her.
No.
Only thing that matters to Debbie Wasserman Schultz is Debbie Wasserman Schultz. That is all that's ever mattered to her. This is a person who you can clearly see. First of all, she's the ultimate carpetbagger. This is all she's ever known. When someone says, oh, she's carpetbagging into District 20, where in the flying fuck do you think she comes from? She is from the North Shore of Long Island. Decided to go to the most Jewish university in the United States by a wide margin, which is the University of Florida. Not a lot of people know that. And then once she's there, she makes her Tallahassee connection to one of the biggest Zionist pieces of shit who ever lived, in Peter Deutsch, who represented the State House district in Broward County that she went to work for as a legislative aide in 1988 when she was in her early 20s. And so, of course, transition out of college, goes right to work in the State House. He decides to go into Congress and he bequeaths this seat to her. She doesn't fight for it, didn't do a thing. And then when he decides to retire from Congress 12 years later, what does he do? The same thing again, bequeaths the congressional seat right to her, and she has never had to fight for anything. And if you think that's bad enough, no, I ain't done yet. It turns out that
I just want you to say his name. Just say his name.
Stop it and let me continue. The fact of the matter is this congressional district that she was representing went from what was a plus 10, plus 11, that she was only winning by 8 points, so she was losing ground in that district. Now it's a plus 4 5R, but it's a new district, new constituents. She is the representative who's been there for decades. She's got millions of dollars to her name. And in a swing election year where the Blues are going to have a much easier time picking off swing district seats, what does she decide to do? No, I am not going to actually fight for my seat. I am going to leave this seat. I am going to carpetbag again into a Black dominant district. And on top of that, they have all been lining up simultaneously saying, stop this, stop this, stop this. And you know who doesn't come out and say anything? Apoc Shakur Hakeem Jeffries doesn't say anything. Jim Clyburn doesn't say anything. Maxine Waters doesn't say anything.
Wait. I'm waiting for Jasmine to go down and endorse her.
So when we say we don't have sympathy for the Democratic Party or for anybody who's going to suffer from this, this is why. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into this. We have reminded you constantly about how evil, disgusting, depraved, and sadistic this woman is. There is nothing she will not do for power. There is nothing she will not do for control. And it's one thing that she has been the top insider trader on Capitol Hill 2 of the last 3 congressional terms. If that's not bad enough, this is a person who sits side by side fucking side with Satanyahu Milikowski. You think that's not enough? Do you think I could possibly go even further? Let's see if I can pull this little photo up here. Let's see if I can add this in. Okay. I am now going to present to you a photograph that was done within the last couple of weeks. Last couple of weeks, that's when this photo was done. So pay attention.
Wait, she's coming out.
As you can see, because you can't miss that ramen noodle hairstyle, Wasserman Schultz is on the end. Do you see who the person is who's sitting right smack dab in the middle? That's President Herzog of Israel.
Of course. And she's still wearing a fucking yellow ribbon. Debbie, who is still missing? Who's still missing? I know who's missing. I don't know, maybe 11,000 Palestinian hostages that are being held. I know they're missing. Who are you wearing a yellow ribbon for? Or is yours a noose too?
It's
Psycho.
probably, I mean, if it's not the noose, she can't wear the noose, but she can say that, you know, I'm signaling that that's what I'm wearing.
I can't with her. It's
and if you want, the creme a la creme.
Wait, can I at least get any comment in about as to why this is going to be a problem and why Debbie is going to win? Sure. Because that is what people aren't really going to understand. You're on a rampage rage, which is I very fully support, but people are not necessarily seeing the link as to why would Debbie be able to win a district where she doesn't live that's 80% Black district? How could that happen? Well, it could happen because there's like 6 Black people in the district in that primary with Debbie. So think about it, right? They all split a whole bunch of votes and she ends up winning with like 12%, not like 20% or whatever it is that, you know, she would get. And that's how it happens. And she knows that. And she knew that. And that was why this has all been planned for a while. This is not new. She's planning this for a while. I think it has to do with why there was an ethics investigation into Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. I think that there's a lot of things that she was putting into play, knowing that this was going to be her move. And it's a good move. And maybe she'll win. She might win. And that will be the absolute end of her. Because when she wins that seat, they'll run her out. They'll run her out. They'll realize that this is not going to work. I do believe that. I don't think they're going to get out of their own way right now. I think there's too many people in that race. There's too much ego in that race that they don't want to think about strategy. And everybody in that race is just has their moral reasons. And it's just not going to work. And that's the problem. And she knows it. I also think that that's why a bunch of them are in that race. I think that she pays to put people in races.
1,000%.
I think that she creates.
1,000%.
Right. So there's going to be people in that race that are her tools.
Correct. Dummy candidates is what they're called.
Yes.
And
so all of those things are going on. Yeah.
I'm putting this out there right now. I'm just saying it because I have to say it. The only person who can beat her is Sheila Sherfilis McCormick, who is the sitting congresswoman. She's been there for 3 terms. She is mired in scandal, but I'm telling you right now, it smells really bad that it was a hit job by Wasserman Schultz. If you really dig into what the full circumstances are regarding the money, it is, again, on the surface,
questionable, and we're not vouching for anybody. That's not what we're doing.
But what I am suggesting is that no one is stealing $5 million and thinking they're going to get away with it. Not possible.
That's not true. I don't agree. I think people steal all sorts of stuff. I'm not vouching one way or another for Sheila. This is not what I'm talking about. I know Sheila personally and I like her. This is not the point. What I'm saying to people in that district, if anybody in that district wants to not have Debbie, you need to consolidate behind Sheila.
It's your only
you
shot.
just do. That's
and I'll tell you,
how it's going to work.
And I'll tell you why. And this goes to Luther Campbell. This goes to Elijah Manley. That goes to anybody else who's in the race. None of you are going to even sniff her ass when it comes to fundraising. So this is what Debbie's going to do. Debbie is going to blanket the district with endless amounts of money. She is going to bribe
and threaten
as many elected officials, as many pastors, as
community
many
leaders,
county commissioners as she could possibly get her hands on. And
not just them, by the way. Wait a second. NGOs, nonprofit organizations, you name it. She's going to bully them, bribe them, blackmail them to get in there. And a whole bunch of people are going to split the vote.
Correct. And so Sheila has one thing going for her that actually, well, she's got two things going for her that actually will make her formidable. Not only is she a Black woman, but she has been the congressional representative of these people. 85% of this district is the district she's been representing for the last 6 years. So they already know her. When Debbie says, oh, they know me and I know them, no, they know Sheila and Sheila knows them, and she's one of them. On top of that, when you are talking about the incumbent advantage, that is everything in politics in many cases. So when you have a person that they've already been electing into office that's running for the seat again, and now this other person's trying to come in there and do it, I would tell Sheila, listen, at the end of the day, you want to beat her, you better get in the mud with her, because that's the only way it's going to work. You have to tell these people that this white bread Zio bitch is trying to come into our Black neighborhoods and try to make our lives even worse than they already are. You better be talking about the fact that this woman is known as the payday lending queen. Of all the things that she's done since she's been in South Florida, she has done more damage to the Black community than the Republicans could ever hope to do to them.
Exactly.
He's done it.
Exactly.
And that has to stick. That's not the only thing. One of the worst aspects, because I've lived in the hood. I may be the all-American white guy, but I can fucking assure you, I've lived there for years. I know what this is like. What you absolutely cannot deny when you're living in these communities, these convenience stores, these areas that are focused on alcohol, that are focused on drugs, that are focused on
food deserts. They're
unhealthy
food
deserts. She is responsible for this. Who do you think funds her campaigns? Southern Wine and Spirits. Look into them and see how much money they've given her over the years. Look at the big pharmaceuticals and how much money they give her. And on top of everything else, when you want to talk about why your kids are dying in the streets, they're dying for the military-industrial complex. And of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, not to be outdone, when it comes to Northrop Grumman, when it comes to Lockheed Martin, when it comes to General Dynamics, no one loves Debbie more than they do. And this is why, when you want to talk about what makes Debbie as evil and conniving and sociopathic as you can possibly be, this is her response regarding the war in Iran before it started up again.
Curious to know what you make of what you just heard Alex lay out of the current framework on the table for the Trump administration and Iran.
Well, Pamela, thanks for having me. And I can tell you through the lens of my constituents that they are saying to me, stop the ride. We want to get off. I mean, this is an incredibly chaotic, really unpredictable, topsy-turvy process that Donald Trump doesn't seem to have any control over. And, there's nobody with their hand on the tiller. And that's why gas prices have increased over $2 in the state of Florida, and in some cases even more across the country. We have small businesses and individuals who have tremendous pain that they're experiencing economically, to say nothing of the increase in the cost of diesel fuel, which is obviously
like you would know a thing about diesel fuel.
Driven up the cost of really being able to run businesses and deliver goods.
So now, I hear this all the time. You want to talk about somebody who truly is a career politician, who has never had a job in their life outside of politics. You're looking at her. She has been in this racket for almost 35 years, and she's not even 60 years old yet. Amazing, isn't it?
This is the pain that Donald Trump's out of control war in Iran has caused is unacceptable. And I am concerned and frustrated over, again, another potential deal, a negotiation where we're going to unfreeze Iranian assets and give them billions of dollars to.
Oh my God, you psycho bigoted cunt. Yes, because it's their money. See, what happened is, Debbie, is they paid us a whole bunch of money for a whole bunch of weapons that we never gave them, and then we still held on to their money. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Why are you doing this to me tonight?
We'll finish it up.
I feel like I'm having high blood pressure.
control proxies again and to rebuild their ballistic missile program, never mind their drone program, which is incredibly deadly, and they've been increasing their drone capability. So this is deeply concerning. And look, I'm glad that Iran, their capability militarily has been degraded. But if what we get from this initial deal is just going back to where we were before, where Iran did not control the Strait of Hormuz, then what has been accomplished?
Oh my God. Debbie, if you weren't such a cunt, I swear I'd go bless your heart. Iran's military is not remotely degraded. Iran is so prepared. Our military is we waste more money defending against their missiles than they spend on their missiles. See, and they have it all calculated out. They have it all figured out. And they could go on for years. And they're prepared for shortages and everything because they've lived hard with sanctions. They're used to that.
Oh, yeah.
See, we're the people in this country, your constituents, they're going to be fucked. But you don't really care, right?
As
It's
I said,
Raytheon and Northrop Grumman. How much could you really care about the war, Debbie?
this is exactly the reason why when I say that my blood pressure goes up, I get excited because I know evil when I see it. The only speech, the speech that Debbie just gave is the speech of somebody who was bought and paid for by the military industrial complex.
Well, and is a bigot. Is a bigot.
Of course she's a bigot. That goes without saying. Anybody who's a Zionist is a bigot.
Well, she's very much like a white supremacist, a Jewish supremacist. I mean, she's up there in she's Nazi category in terms of her fascist level and her war hawkedness and all of that. I mean, she really is. She's fascist. And yet sits there and talks like somehow Trump is the problem. But don't get me wrong, Trump is a problem. But
he is a problem.
It's so ironic to watch her.
Yeah. He's not the problem, but he is a big problem.
He is a problem.
So with that being said, you know where I stand. You know where Jen stands. Guys, get your act together in District 20.
Seriously. This is what I'll know. Okay. This is what we'll know. You will either coalesce in the best interest of that district, think strategically, look at money and think strategically and smart, take your ego out of it for a minute, or you're getting Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And you guys are going to all look like ridiculous bitches of hers. That could even happen.
Nope.
And the fact, and I want people to think of this, and I was saying this today to Mo, how infuriating this is. I want people in the Black community in that district to understand how little Debbie thinks of you. She thinks so fucking little of you.
So dumb.
She thinks you're so dumb and gullible that she can work this out and get your district easier than her fighting for a few points in the district that she's already been in for 25 years. That's how stupid she thinks you are and how gullible. And so she's going to go into District 20 and do all her shenanigans. There'll be little nice fake candidates. There'll be all sorts of scandals. She'll have she'll have it all going on. And if she wins, what that says to me is that you all couldn't get out of your own way. Hopefully, if that does happen, you will regroup and get it together for 2 years later. Because there is no excuse for that woman winning an 80% Black district that she doesn't live in. That's insane. Shame on that. Whole thing, that's absurd. Yeah.
Bribery goes a long way in politics, especially Democratic Party politics. With that being said, we stated our case. I'm sure there will be more to cover in the future. But with that being said,
we'll get shit for this too. I'm sure. Well, you will on social media. I'm sure. I won't because I don't see it, but
I don't care. My
and
concern
for anybody in there, I thought I saw Libertarian, Social Democrat, whoever is who's suggesting that Elijah Manley is the answer. Even if I were to tell you that I thought he were, let's say hypothetically, and we're gonna take that off the table because that's very personal for me, and I'm not gonna get into that. But let's say hypothetically, I thought he were the best person for that job. He can't win that seat. He cannot win that seat for a myriad of reasons, not the least of which is we know that he doesn't have any money right now. So we're being strategic and we're being practical.
He's also never been an elected official. I cannot emphasize this enough.
Yes.
The one thing that Debbie cannot use against Sheila, which is the most important thing that her campaign ad that she put together emphasized, is that she is experienced and that she has clout. Well, guess what? A 3-term going on a potential 4th-term congresswoman, that's an experienced legislator. So you can't use that against McCormick. You could use it against Elijah. You could use it against Luther. But you can't use it against Sheila.
What she's going to have against Sheila is the scandal. And the truth is, Peter and I do not know. We don't know. And we're not vouching or swearing for anybody.
Which is why, if Sheila thinks she has any chance of winning, she better call out Debbie on everything. And I do mean everything.
But that's where, and this is where we know that it'll fall short. But the truth is, right now, in this precarious 6-person or whatever it is primary, she doesn't need to do anything like that yet. That's the thing. Right now, that doesn't do anything.
No, it's still too early. But the election is at the end of August, and it's 3 months from now. The election is 3 months from now. It'll be here before you know it. I mean, ballots go out in like 7 weeks. So this is going to sneak up on everybody. Get your shit together fast. Debbie's
and I, again, before to everybody in that district, yes, I like Sheila. Yes, I know her personally. This isn't about that either. This is just like it's not about my knowing Elijah.
It's strategy.
It's strategy. It's smart. It's trying to, it's whatever you need to do to keep Debbie Wasserman Schultz from winning that seat. And financially and politically, Sheila's your best option. That's just a fact. So
if you've enjoyed this conversation, which we hope you have, please go over to patreon.com/revolutionary change. For as little as $5 a month, you can become a supporter of our small but mighty, despite heavily suppressed yet still growing channel. I want to give a big shout out to our super chatters of the evening. Jim Talib with the $5 super sticker. We appreciate you as always, my friend. Libertarian Social Dem with the $4.99. Christian nationalism and white supremacy is getting worse with the new generation, especially who think they are the only Americans but not Black and Native. Again, when economic circumstances get more and more dire, nativism becomes exceptionally more appealing to people in desperate straits.
yes, it does. And it's easy to sell. Everybody who's going over there, I'll be there shortly. Have fun.
Robin in the Hood.
Good. Is that really you? You are so pretty.
That's actually
your eyes are beautiful.
That's Megan Fox.
If that isn't you, you might be really pretty too. I don't know, but that person is very pretty.
It looks like it's Megan Fox. I could be wrong.
Oh.
Nawal Najer with the $19.99. Thank you, Jen and Peter, for speaking truth to power. Agree 100% with every word. My heart breaks for Palestine. The IOF has just issued orders to demolish 20 homes in my hometown, half an hour from Bethlehem, for settlements.
Yeah, what would Jesus do?
Say America, fuck yeah? Is that what you think he'd say? Or would he be like Ben Gvir?
Yeah, that's what he'd be like.
Got to do away with these guys. Squeaky Clean, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. We appreciate you, my friend. Welcome aboard. Libertarian Social Dem with the $1.99. Native Americans should be the one who set immigration laws. Oh, absolutely.
Word.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing how the caucasity has spread so global, right? So the idea that people would come to Turtle Island and declare this ours. This is ours. We say it's ours. We have bigger guns. It's ours. And draw lines. And you can't come here. And now the caucasity is this motherfucker is standing in the Strait of Hormuz in sovereign land between Oman and Iran and saying this is international waters and we get to decide what happens here. We need to stop the caucasity, people. It's a global problem now.
Liz Rowan, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. We really appreciate you. Carson Cruz, with the $10 just to thank you for you both. We thank you, my friend. Arlene Chambers, always a pleasure. $5, never-ending shitty game. It is pretty shitty. I would agree.
To anybody in the chat discussing the word caucasity, I assure you, it's a word because I use it. So if I use it and it comes out of my mouth in the form of something that has a meaning, it's a word. So, yeah.
Libertarian Social Dem with a $1.99. Thank you, DeSantis, for packing the Zios in the 25th Congressional District. Hey, listen, just let them have one. They're going to have something. Don't let them spread their disease around the entire state, around the entire country. Let them have that one district. It is what it is.
And by the way, guys, they will be running out of fresh water, and they will literally be under
in that district, especially.
In that
absolutely.
district.
Oh, yeah. That's Boca Raton. That's Del Rey, but it's Boca Raton to Miami Beach. So, of course, it's Zio hell. And Hollywood Beach and Fort Lauderdale Beach. So, yes, they're all together now. Now they can be one. And finally, Rabbi.
Oh, here, Rabbi. It's Rabbi Sidawi.
Rabbi Hassadawi. Yes, with the 10 Aussie dollars. Thank you, Jen and Peter. Best regards from Lebanon. Well, I see the A, and I assume that was Australia.
I know. I'm not sure. Well, the A might be. We don't know.
Robbie
There are.
So I was right. I wasn't even looking at what he wrote yet. I was trying to get his name right.
I know. That's what I'm saying, Robbie Sidawi. But I don't know the currencies, and I also know that the world is a global place, Peter. Sometimes, I know this is going to be crazy, Lebanese people go outside of Lebanon and come back, and sometimes Australian people that are from Lebanese descent might go there. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. It's all possible.
Make sure to subscribe over at Substack at Revolutionary Change. Make sure you're subscribed on Rumble. Make sure you're subscribed on Instagram and TikTok. Smash that like button, share and subscribe, and do all those things that we ask you to do. I will see you guys on Saturday. And yes,
here it is. That is it. That is a very good way of, yes, thank you. Thank you, Naybones. Am I reading? I mean, I don't know if that stands for anything else, but the audacity of the Caucasian equals caucasity. Yeah. That's a good way to do it. Yes.
We love you all. We appreciate you all. I will see you Saturday. And yes, I will discuss Candace Owens and Anna Kasparian having their conversation.
Did they have a thing?
They had a thing.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing all about that on Saturday, guys.
Can't leave yet. Ronwell, it's been a long time, my libertarian friend. Ronwell is one of our resident libertarians who desperately wants Thomas Massie to run for president. We'll see what happens. Hot take for the $10. I'm with Norm on distrusting Tucker. Here's why. CIA is always CIA to me. That's a true libertarian right there. CIA is always CIA to me. Plus, Tucker didn't even apologize to Cynthia McKinney, even in a long time, and she's against Israel even before October 7th. Fair enough, Ronwell. I hear you, brother.
Look, and I agree. Look, once a spook, always a spook. The difference with him is it's his dad. Does that make him a spook? Spook by association. I could see that too. I'm not going to argue it. As I said, I mean, he's definitely has the vibe of being protected. So
I think at the end of the day, there is nothing wrong with appreciating Tucker or even supporting Tucker. It doesn't mean you have to trust him. That's the difference. Everyone should be susceptible to the great fall because that's politics, even when you're sitting that high up on the hill. With that being said, we love you all. We appreciate you all.
We love you.
Saturday.
Free Palestine, guys.
Good night, guys.